I love that first reading that Emily read to us from Corinthians. And if you get a chance, it's 1 Corinthians 9, right? 1 Corinthians 9. To reread it, if you would, or to simply take in this idea that St. Paul talks about this idea of sowing sparingly and reaping sparingly. And it's a fascinating thing, but you and I know I keep saying this over the last, 6 months, I've probably mentioned it in 8 homilies, but it's so important. You and I as humans, we are a body-soul unity. We are visible and we are invisible. And everything around us in many ways, especially in our secular culture, is geared toward the physical. And it ingrains in us an idea that I wrestle with all the time. Namely, when there's something physical, if I give it away, I lose it. I don't have it anymore. If I've got $5, and I do, I don't want to brag. If I've got $5 and I give you 3, I don't have $5 anymore. I've got whatever, Kevin, 5 minus 3 is. 2, thank you. It's our business manager. That's how the physical world works. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing right with it. It's just how it is. When I give you a physical, visible thing, I lose it. What we forget is when it comes to the invisible, it actually works the exact opposite. If I imitate him and give you all my love, I will have more love. If I imitate him and give you all the joy I can, I have more joy. I don't know why it works this way. I just know that's how God set it up. And yesterday, more than a few times, like we had this big meeting, right? It's the result of 3 years of study and data and lay leaders and priests and partridges and pear tree as they're looking at our diocese and they're seeing priests are getting wiped out, right? Lay people are getting neglected and we're so busy trying to survive, we're not telling people about Jesus. Right? So they're making this big plan. And I fretted all for probably a week before this meeting, right? And, but one thing that struck me over and over at that meeting yesterday, where they're talking about what are we thinking of doing, was how often I fall for that lie, right? That if I give away something like love, if I gamble that I can trust, that somehow I'll be spiritually poorer. No, that makes me spiritually richer. So whatever you're facing right now in your life or in the life of the people you love, try to keep this in mind, that the physical world conditions us. And again, rightly so, that's how the physical world works. If I give you something, I lose it. But the spiritual world is the opposite. And it works for the dark stuff too. If I give you my anger, I become more angry. If I give you my fear, I become more fearful. If I give you my love, I become more loving. If I give you my hope, we become more hopeful. So what will I do with that information? Will I let it get in there and change me? So that, in Paul's words, I'm not sowing sparingly, but I'm just pouring it out, knowing that God, I love this, is able to make every grace abundant in you. How cool is that? So I'll stop now. But I invite us today to see how generous we can be with that which is invisible, recognizing how incredibly wealthy and holy that will make us. Amen?